JTP group.
Okay, sir. Sure.
Hi, sir. Yeah, first time I attended this class. So previously, I attended Sheetal ma'am class for Java and Advanced Java batch, and I
Okay.
have enrolled for Java full stack. So, like, I'm only looking for evening batch, as earlier I said, but again, I think the batch moved to morning batch, so I missed the web one and also
Sure, madam.
Springboard.
You can talk to the admin team. They will help you with the next batch for
Yeah,
attending.
I already spoke with them. Then they only shared me this link to attend the
Okay. Okay.
live
Cool.
project.
Cool. Cool. So please join in the WhatsApp group link I have given in the chat box.
Yeah, okay.
Anybody who is not part of that, please join there.
Sir, today class is on YouTube live.
Yes, sir. It is there.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. All right, guys. Let's get started. Yeah. Good evening, everyone. Today is our fourth class for the Java real-time project. In the last session, we discussed about some information related to software industry, like what is software project, why we need to develop software projects, and how many types of projects are available in the IT industry, and what type of work will be available in those projects, how many types of software companies are available, and how interview process will be there in those companies. Then how many types of jobs will be available in the industry, what is permanent job, what is contract job, and how many types of teams will be available, what is onshore team and offshore team, what is bridge call, what is minutes of meeting, what is the DL. So these are the concepts that we discussed in the last session. What is project? Can you tell me what is project? Collection of programs is called as a project. Why to develop software projects? We are developing software projects in order to reduce human efforts. Any work that we are doing manually can be automated by using software project. Types of projects. How many types of projects are there? Three types of projects are available: scratch development project, maintenance projects, and migration projects will be available. Scratch development means we are going to create everything from the starting. Migration means existing project will be there, we need to do some changes in the project, so that can be a enhancement or change request or bug fixing. Then what is migration project? Project which is developed using old technology will be migrated to latest technology. Types of software companies. So there are two types of companies available: product based companies and service based company. Company which will develop the project and will sell that project to the customers in the market is called prod based company. What is service based company? What is the meaning of service based company? The company which will develop the project based on the client given requirement. It is called service based company. What is the interview process in the IT company? Depends on type of the company. If you go for a prod based company, data structures, algorithms will be there. Service based company, data structures and latest technologies will be available. How many types of jobs are there in the industry? Two types of jobs are there in the industry, right? Permanent job and contract job. What is the meaning of permanent job? More benefits will be available. Direct company will pay the salary to you where you are working. What about the contract job? You will be selected for one company, but you will work for the other company project, that is called contract job. Nowadays, almost all service-based companies are doing this contract business, that is called outsourcing business. Types of teams, mainly onshore team will be available, offshore team will be available. What is the meaning of onshore team? The team which is working in the client location is called as onshore team. What is offshore team? Not working in the client location, maybe in the India, some cities, people are working from different cities. So if our client is in the US, if you are working from India, then we are called as offshore people. So daily communication will happen between onshore and offshore people. Okay, that communication will happen through bridge calls, right? Then what is bridge call? Conference meeting. What softwares will be used? Teams mainly companies are using Teams software for the bridge call. What is minutes of meeting? When we discuss something in the meeting regarding the project, we need to mention those points in the email and we need to send those points to all the participants in that meeting. Okay. What is bench in the IT? What is bench in the IT? People are joined in the company, but they are not allocated to any project. Once we join in the company, again the one more round of interview will be available. That is called client round or project round. So once you selected for the TCS company or Infosys or Wipro or Deloitte, so those companies will be dealing with multiple projects at a time. So when you got selected for that company, once you join, based on the project requirement, they will conduct one more round of interview. If you got selected in that interview, then you will be allocated for the project. If you are rejected in the interview, they will send you to another project interview. Like people will be there on the bench for 6 months, 1 year, 2 years also. Some people will be there on the bench. Guys, in the online Zoom students, is there anyone who is currently on the bench in your company? Is there anybody who is on bench in your current company? Yes, yes. Two people responded, Venkatesh and Gaurav. Venkatesh from 8 months is on the bench. Yeah, you see, so people are there on the bench from eight. See, so many people, so many people are there on the bench. That means they are working in the company. They joined in the company. They are getting the salary from the company, but they are not belongs to any project. So whenever there is a requirement for particular project in the company, those people will go for the interview. So one person from 3 months on the bench, Pavitra is on the bench. So one person is on the bench from last 8 months, right? So some companies 1 year, 2 years bench also will be available. 1.8 years is on the bench. One person is 8 months, one person 3 months, one person 10 days. From last 10 days, they are on the bench. Ashwini Mane, who is this guy? Sending WhatsApp group link. Is it our WhatsApp group or different WhatsApp group? Our WhatsApp group only. Yeah? Okay. Generally, right, outside institute people will join to collect the data. Okay, cool. So I'm sharing our WhatsApp group link here in the chat box. So please join. Anyone who is new to this batch, who are not part of our WhatsApp group, I shared the link in the chat box. Please join in that. Yeah, we have seen all these tricks. Good. So we understood what is bench in the IT. Clear. Fine. So guys, whenever you attend the interview, if the interviewer is asking, do you have any questions for me? Do you have any questions for me? How to ask? When I select, did I select or not? When I will get offer letter? How much salary I will get? We should not ask such kind of things. So what we need to ask? What is your project tech stack? You need to ask this question. What is your project tech stack? That means what are the technologies are used in your current project? Okay. If I join in this project, if I get opportunity, if I get opportunity, if I get opportunity to work with, to work in your project, if I get opportunity to work in your project, do I need to learn anything new? Do I need to learn anything new? Okay, that is the second question. What is the third question? Huh? This position, this requirement, this recruitment basically. This recruitment is for specific project. This is for specific project or for bench. So you can ask these kind of questions at the end. So definitely that person who is taking your interview, at the end they will ask, do you have any questions for me? Then you need to ask all these three questions. What is your project tech stack? If I get opportunity to work in your project, do I need to learn anything new? This recruitment is for specific project or for bench? You can ask that. Okay, good. So with this, we are having some basic information about what is software project, what is software team, how they will communicate, all that information. Now, let's get into our project main agenda. So as part of this project, what we need to do currently in the market, how people are developing the application. So in the industry, projects are divided into two types, guys. First one is called monolith architecture project. Monolith architecture project. Then second category, microservices architecture project. Okay. So now let us understand what is the difference between this monolith architecture project and microservices architecture project. Earlier in the company, before 4 years, 5 years back, companies used to develop the project by using monolith architecture. Currently, monolith became outdated in the market. People are developing the project by using microservices architecture. So let us understand what is that monolith architecture, what are the problems in the monolith, why people are going for microservices architecture. As part of this course, our agenda, how to develop microservices based application with a full stack development, with real-time standards, with real-time tools, with real-time requirements. So we need to develop microservices architecture based project by end of this course. So that is our agenda. Then only it is called as a real-time project development course. Fine. So earlier, people used to develop a project by using monolithic architecture, guys. Monolithic architecture, nothing but everything will be developed in one project. The project, nothing but multiple functionalities will be available. All the functionalities they will develop as one application. They will create one project. In that project, they will develop all the classes, all the methods, everything will be available at one place. Everything will be available at one place. That is called monolithic application. For example, in my project, I want to develop the logic for flights booking. Okay. Similarly, I want to develop the logic for trains booking, and I want to develop the logic for hotels booking. Okay. Hotels booking is available, functionality requirement is there. Then I want to develop the functionality for cabs booking. I want to develop the functionality for bus booking. Okay. And I want to develop the functionality for payment. Right. So all these are my requirements. So I want to develop one project with all these requirements. All these requirements we are developing in one project. There are different requirements available. All these requirements we are developing in one project. If you develop all these requirements in one project, then that project will connect with one database only. So for our entire application, we are going to use one DB. All the functionalities are communicating with that database. If you develop your project like this, then that project is called as monolithic architecture based project. That project is called as monolithic architecture based project. So that was old style of development. 5 years back, 6 years back, people used to develop the project in this fashion. Now, if you go for this application, what if you develop your application like this, then what will happen? The first problem, this complete application will be packaged as a war file. This is a web application. Web application deployment will happen as a war file. Okay. So this big web application is available. Lot of functionality is available. We developed everything in the single application. We packaged this big application as one war file. That war file we are going to deploy inside one server. Okay, in order to run that war file, we need one server. That may be a external server or that may be a embedded server. Our application is running inside the server. How many war files available? One war file. What is there in that war file? All the functionalities available. We deployed into one server. Now, this application is live. That application is deployed into production environment. Anybody can access our application. Some customers want to book the flights. Some customers want to book the trains. Some customers buses. Some customers cabs. Some customers hotels. So many customers are accessing our application to book the tickets according to their requirement. So as the so many users are accessing our application, all the user requests are coming to single server. Okay, so 1 lakh users are accessing our application. When the 1 lakh users are accessing our application, all the requests are coming to single server. Single server is responsible to handle all the incoming requests. When there is a single server to handle all the requests, burden will be increased on the server. I'm a human being. If you keep 10 kg bag on my head, I can carry. If you keep 20 kgs, I can carry. 50 kgs also, I can carry. If you keep 200 kgs weight on my head, there will be a bottleneck or not. So as per my capacity, as per my energy levels, I can carry weight up to 50 kgs bag or 60 kgs bag. But if you keep 500 kg bag at a time on my head, I will die. Yes or no? Same thing here. When we are running our application in the server, server also will have some capacity. Server also will have some capacity. So at a time, our server can handle 1000 requests. Suppose if 1 lakh people access our server at a time, server will die or not? Yes, that server crash will happen. Our application cannot be accessible. This is the first problem when you go for monolithic architecture. Boss, everything is available at one place only. All the functionalities are available at one place only. All the customers are accessing your application. All the requests are going to single server only. The burden is increasing on the server. When burden increased on the server, server will be crashed, application will be down, business will be affected. Are you clear? Now, in order to overcome this problem, earlier, what people used to do? People used to follow a concept called load balancer concept. What is the concept, guys? Load balancer concept. Because I am getting more customers to access my application. Why should I lose the business? I should not lose the business. Can I tell to the people, hey, only 1000 people can access at a time? Can I restrict the customers like that? Then that is a loss for my business. So what I will do? Simple example, man. We have institute, classroom capacity 100. If 200 people comes, will I send the 100 people back to another institute? What I will do? Immediately I will take one more building. That is my business, right? So I need to invest on the infrastructure if more number of people are coming. So earlier there was only one institute. Now we have taken second because more crowd is coming. Space is not sufficient. When there is no space in the institute, am I telling that please go to other institute? Why? Business. So same situation. When we are developing a project and running the project in the market, if more number of users are accessing our application, our server is not able to handle the load. When one server is not able to handle the load, what we will do? We will take two servers. One classroom is not sufficient. Then what we will take? Two classrooms. If two classrooms are not sufficient, we will take three classrooms. If three not sufficient, we will take 10 classrooms. If we are getting the people, what is the problem in taking the classroom? There is no problem. Similarly, when the business is coming for the project, why we will run in only one server? We will run our project in the multiple server. That is called load balancing. Instead of sending all the requests to one server, we will distribute the request to multiple server. That process is called load balancing. So why we need to go for load balancing? Earlier, people use it to develop only one project, that is called monolithic application. Monolithic application means everything is available in the single project. The whole project is packaged as a one war file. That one war file deployed in one server. All the requests are coming to single server. Burden is increasing on the server. Server is crashing. Response is delayed for the customer. Customers are losing impression on our project. Then definitely business will be affected. So to overcome this problem, people use it to go for load balancer. What they will do? They are going to deploy our application in multiple servers. Same war file. Whatever the war is available, same war file. Instead of running in one server, they will run that war file in multiple servers. So this is server 1 and server 2, server 3, like this server 4, server 10, depends on the requirement. Server 2 is available and server 3 is also available. Same project, same war file, but it is running in the 3 servers. Now users are going to access our application. When users are accessing our application, user request should go to which server? That will be decided by one more server, which is called load balancer. For every project, this kind of load balancer will be available. This load balancer is responsible to distribute the load to all the servers which are connected to the load balancer. So whenever you send a request to the load server, that request will be taken care by load balancer. Load balancer will give the request to all the servers in the round robin fashion. First request will go to first server, second request will go to second server, third request will go to third server, fourth request will go to first server, fifth request will go to second, like that. That is called round robin fashion. Earlier, people used to follow this mechanism to run the applications in the market. Are you getting my point? Okay. If I go for this approach, what is the problem? Maintenance. So am I running one server? Am I running multiple servers? I need to manage multiple servers and I need to manage one load balancer also. Infrastructure cost will be available. Instead of running in one computer, now we are running in the multiple computers. Infrastructure cost will be increased. Maintenance will be increased. So this is the first problem. Are you guys able to understand? Yes. What is a monolithic architecture? Can you tell me? Online students, what is a monolithic architecture? Online students, is my voice audible? Yes. People who are having doubts, we can ask the questions at the end, not in the middle of the session. I already told that. Okay, if I give unmute option in the middle of the session, what will happen? Session will happen or doubts discussion will happen? If I give the people to unmute the mic in the middle of the session, so there are 200 people. If everybody ask at least one question, it will take 200 minutes. So the 1.5 hour, 2 hours of time will go for doubts clarification only. So that is the reason at the end of the session, you can unmute and you can ask your questions. This is especially for the people who are attending in the Zoom. Okay, good. What is the meaning of monolithic architecture, guys? If you develop all the functionalities in one application, then that is called monolithic application. Monolithic application will be deployed into one server. All the requests will go to single server. Burden will be increased. Then how to reduce that burden? By using load balancer. What is the advantage if you go for the load balancer? The incoming requests will be distributed to multiple servers which are connected to the load balancer in the round robin fashion. Okay, so burden on the server. That is the first problem. What is the first problem, guys? Burden on server. That is the first problem. Then second problem, single point of failure. Okay. What is the second problem? Single point of failure. What is the meaning of single point of failure? If there is a small problem in one functionality, the entire application will be down. If there is some exception in the code, the whole project is going to be down because everything is available at one place. If something is damaged, then the entire application will be collapsed. So that is called single point of failure. When you go for monolithic application, this is the second problem, single point of failure. And third problem, redeployment. Redeployment is the third problem. What is the meaning of redeployment? If there is a small change in one functionality, then we need to deploy the entire application. If there is a small change in one functionality, then we need to redeploy the entire application, which will take lot of time. So these all are the challenges available when we go for monolithic architecture. Can you tell me what are the challenges with the monolith architecture? First one is burden on the server. What is the meaning of burden on the server? What is the meaning of burden on the server? All the user requests will go to one server. It cannot handle the load. How to reduce the load on the server? By using load balancer. Okay. Second problem, single point of failure. What is the meaning of single point of failure? What is the meaning of single point of failure? If there is a problem at one place, the entire application will be down. Then what is the third problem? What is the third problem? Redeployment. If there is a small change in one functionality, there is a change in the train booking functionality, then you need to redeploy your entire application, which will take lot of time. So these are the challenges available when we develop the project using monolithic architecture. Are you clear? Now, to overcome these challenges, people are developing the project by using microservices architecture. People are developing the project by using microservices architecture. Guys, remember, microservices is not a technology. It is not a technology. Now, microservices, we cannot, like Java is one technology. Similar to that, I cannot say microservices is one technology, not a technology. And we can say that microservices, not a framework. Microservices, not an API. It is not a technology. It is not a framework. It is not an API. Then what is a microservice? It is an architectural design pattern. What is microservices, guys? Microservices nothing but architectural design pattern. Architectural design pattern. This architectural design pattern not only for the Java, not only for the Java, Python people also can develop the project using microservices architecture. .NET people can develop the project using microservices. PHP people can develop using microservices. Node.js people can develop the project using microservices. Microservices is an architectural design pattern to develop application with loosely coupling. Okay, whatever the functionalities are available, don't combine all functionalities at one place. Don't combine all functionalities at one place. You divide the functionalities into multiple small projects so that you can manage them easily. Simple example. You want to construct one house. You want to construct one house. You will take a land. Okay. So when we are constructing a house, are we going to construct one big room for the house? Can you create one big room and can you stay in that house? No. We will do some partitions in the house. Hall will be available. Okay. Bedrooms will be available. Kitchen will be available. Balcony will be available like that. we are going to divide our house into small rooms. Why we are dividing into rooms? Why can't we construct one big room and do everything in that room? Come on. It is not flexible, right? We can't have the luxury life when we are having a single room. So kitchen will be separate, dining will be separate, bedroom will be separate, living area will be separate, balcony will be separate. So similarly, when we are developing our application, don't keep everything at one place. That is the main agenda of the microservices. Don't develop everything at one place. Microservices means it is an architectural design pattern. So here microservices used to develop application with a loosely coupling. That means one functionality should be loosely coupled with the another functionality. Microservices nothing but independently deployable applications. Microservices means independently independently deployable and executable projects. Independently deployable and executable projects are called as microservices. So to overcome problems available in the monolith architecture, currently in industry, we are going for microservices architecture. So can you tell me what is a microservice? Can I say it is a framework to develop the application? No. What is microservice? Microservice is an architectural design pattern to develop our application. Microservice is not a technology. Microservice is not a framework. Microservice is not an API. Then what is microservice? Microservice is an architectural design pattern. These microservices are used to develop application with the loosely coupling. What is the definition for the microservices in the market? Microservices nothing but independently deployable and executable application. So whatever the requirements are available, instead of developing all the requirements in one project, we are going to divide our requirements into independently deployable and executable application. Now, same application I want to develop by using microservices architecture. Let us see how it will be developed using microservices architecture. For hotels booking, we are going to create one separate project which is called Hotels API. What is this called, guys? It is called Hotels API. Hotels API is a pure backend application which is a REST API. Whatever the logic is required, whatever the logic you want to implement to book the hotel ticket, that will be created as a separate project. That project contains the logic only to book the hotel tickets, nothing else. That is called one API. That is called one microservice. It is called one backend API, which contains only business logic. Backend APIs are nothing but REST APIs, which will take data as an input, which will give JSON data as an output. We are going to use request as a JSON data, response also as a JSON data. JSON payloads we are going to use to send the request to get the response. Now, this is one project. You can develop this project, you can test this project, you can deploy this project. This is one independent API. It is called one microservice. It is independently deployable and executable application. What is there in this application? Only the business logic to book the hotel ticket. So which hotel you want to book, to whom you want to book the hotel, take the data, send it to the API in the JSON format. API will execute the logic. API will book the ticket, book the hotel, will send the confirmation to you in the JSON format. That is called one REST API. We can call it as one microservice. Microservice nothing but a small application. What is the meaning of micro? Small. So microservice nothing but a small service, a small application which contains limited functionality, which can be independently deployable and independently executable. Now, here for the hotels API, one database is required. Hotels API will maintain its own database. Earlier, for all the functionalities, common database is available. Now, every microservice will maintain its own database. So when you go for monolithic architecture, all the functionalities are communicating with the single database. Now, microservice architecture means every service is having its own database. Now, I want to book the train tickets also. In order to book the train tickets, we are going to develop one more project called Trains API. Trains API will be available. So Trains API logic will execute and it will communicate with one database called Trains database. Trains API will communicate with only Trains database. Now, so is there any relation between Hotel API and Trains API? Both are two separate projects. They are independent. They are loosely coupled. They are backend applications. Two backend applications are available. Similarly, I have a requirement for flights booking. Then what we will do? What we are going to do? We are going to develop flights API. That flights API will communicate with one more database which is called flights DB. So like this, there are three microservices are available for three functionalities. Earlier, all three functionalities developed in one project. Now, three functionalities are developed as three different projects. These are called microservices. We can call them as REST APIs. We can call them as backend applications. Now, for all these backend application, depends on the requirement, all the three backend applications can communicate with a single database or they can communicate with the three different databases also. What about the front end? The front end application will be developed separately. That is called our UI application. UI application will be developed by using Angular or by using React. This front end application, whenever the request comes to the front end application contains only user interface. So whenever the request comes, front end application can communicate with the backend APIs by using JSON data. So what is the mediator between front end and back end? JSON. Front end application will take the JSON data from the customer, will give the JSON data to the back end application. Back end application will execute the business logic, will do the database operation, will send the response back to the front end in the JSON format. Request payload, response payload in the form of JSON. So this is called our full stack architecture. So in the market currently, people are developing application like this. Okay, front end project will be separate, back end project will be separate, and we need to integrate that front end project and back end project. That is called as full stack project. Front end project and back end project we are going to integrate, then it will become full stack. Front end application, one project will be available. In the back end, multiple projects will be available. Instead of calling them as multiple projects, people will call them as microservices. What people will call? People are going to call them as microservices. Got my point? Right. So what is the difference between monolithic application and microservices application now? What is the difference between monolithic application and microservices application now? Come on, guys. Monolithic application means everything is developed in one project that is deployed in the one server. But when it comes to microservices application, one project is available, four projects available. Flights API, one project, that is one backend API, one microservice. Flights API, one backend service. Trains API, one backend service. Okay. In the backend, three APIs are available. Nothing but three microservices are available. What will be there in the microservices? Only business logic will be available. What about user interface? that is another project. User interface is another project that will be developed by using Angular or React. End user will communicate with the UI application. UI application will communicate with the backend microservices. One microservice or multiple microservices. Now, 10 people are accessing hotels booking, 10 people are accessing flights booking, 10 people are accessing trains booking, 30 people are accessing our application to book the different tickets. 30 requests will go to one server, 30 requests will go to 3 different servers. Hotels API is running in one server, flights API running in one server, this hotels API, trains, flights running in the one server. So our application running in one server, our application running in 3 servers. User requests will be distributed. But earlier when I develop as monolith, everything is available in one project. All 30 people requests will go to one server. But 30 people requests will be distributed to 3 servers because functionality not available in one server. So some functionality in one server, remaining functionality in one server, some functionality in the another server. Flight booking logic will execute in first server, train ticket booking execute in the second server, hotel booking logic will execute in the third server. So the load is already distributed. Do I need to set up a separate load balancer? Not required, because already our project is developed in 3 services, 3 APIs. 3 APIs are running in 3 servers. So the user request will be distributed to 3 servers. Maintenance will become easy. When you go for monolith, burden will increase on the server because everything is in one server. All the requests will go to one server. So the maintenance of the project will become difficult when you go for monolithic architecture. To overcome that problem in the industry, people are going for microservices. Are you clear? What is the meaning? What is the meaning of a microservice, guys? Can I say it is one API like JDBC, one API like servlet, one framework like Spring? No. What is this? It is a design pattern to develop our application with the loosely coupling. Is microservices patent rights are there for only Java developers? Only Java developers can use microservices? No. Who can use microservices? Universal. Any language developer can use microservices architecture to develop the project. What is the main advantage with the microservice? Independently executable APIs. Independently executable APIs. Loosely coupling. Loosely coupling. Less burden on the server because everything is not there on one server. Everything is not there on one server. So the APIs are divided and APIs are running in the different servers. So the incoming request will be handled by multiple servers. Are you clear? And one more problem, one more thing. Suppose if there is a problem in the hotels booking, what about the trains and flights? Any problem? 3 projects are running in 3 servers. One server failed. Any problem? Single point of failure is there or single point of failure not there? But when I go for monolith, if server is crashed, collapse. But in the microservices, if there is a problem in one API, only that functionality will be affected. Happily, users can use the remaining functionality in the project. But in the monolithic architecture, that is not possible. In the monolithic architecture, single point of failure is available. In the microservices architecture, that problem will not be available because all the functionality not executing in one server, functionalities are developed in multiple APIs. Every API is one microservice, nothing but one small project running in the separate server. If there is a problem in one server, only that functionality affected, remaining functionalities will not be affected. Okay, I am making some code changes in the flights API project. Do I need to deploy the remaining 2 projects also? But earlier when I go for monolith, complete project we need to redeploy. If you make a small change, to one variable name also, the entire project we need to package and we need to redeploy. But when you go for microservices architecture, do I need to redeploy the entire application or I need to redeploy only that particular microservice? We need to redeploy only that particular microservice. You no need to redeploy the entire application. Are you getting my point? So when you compare monolith and microservices architecture having lot of advantages. That is the reason this microservices development having lot of demand in the market. Industry is also looking for microservices developers. What is the meaning of microservices developers? Instead of developing everything in one project, you need to divide your functionalities into small APIs and you need to develop. That is called microservices development. Why there is a course in the market, Spring Boot microservices? Now you are attending morning class, Spring Boot and microservices. Why? What is that Spring Boot and microservices? We need to learn how to develop microservices by using Spring Boot. Spring Boot is a framework which will simplify microservices development. So as a Java developer, we need to learn microservices development by using Spring Boot. That's why that course is called Spring Boot with microservices. Okay. Now here it is Java real-time project. What is the meaning of Java real-time project? Developing one real-time application with the microservices architecture with the real-time tools help. How people will develop the project in the company with the best practices with the tools. Same thing we need to develop as part of our training. That's why it is called Java real-time project training. Are you clear? What we are going to learn in this course now? What we need to learn? How to develop one project with a microservices architecture. But here the problem is development process is easy in the monolith application because everything is there in one database, all the classes available at one place. You can write all the code, you can debug the code line by line, and you can understand how it is executing. But when you go for microservices, if I want to test my functionality, is it available in one project? Multiple services are available. So the development time will increase as well as lot of configurations we need to do, duplicate configurations we need to do when we are going for microservices architecture. So some experience is required in order to work with the microservices architecture. Directly, if I teach a real-time project with the microservices architecture, you will get lot of confusions. Array, without UI, how can we develop the project? So I will tell that we need to develop one registration functionality. Without the user interface, you need to develop the functionality. You need to imagine that what data will come from the front end you need to develop. You need to imagine what front end screen is expecting from the back end application. You need to send that data to the front end in the form of JSON. For freshers, it is a little time-taking process to understand microservices development. So it will be confusing initially when we are developing our project directly with the microservices architect. Why? Because we are having some experience in the microservices development. By looking at the requirement, we will understand, okay, from the front end, these fields will come in the JSON format. Let's start the backend application. Front end is expecting this data. Let us send JSON data to the front end. If you have work experience, if you have hands-on experience in the project development process, that is okay. But if you are a fresher, is it easy? No, because everything we need to do with the imagination. No UI, button will not be available. You need to imagine that the button will be clicked. Then what code should execute when the button is clicked? Button will not be available to click, but your code should execute. So that's where people will use Postman software to do the testing of the microservices. So at the fresher level, it is little challenging part to understand microservices development. So that's why what we planned. First, we will develop the project in the monolithic architecture. Why we are developing in the monolithic architecture? You will have the user interface, you will have the button, you will see the table, everything is visible. Then you can understand what to do in the project. Once you get the experience with the project development in the monolith, then same project we will convert into microservices. Once you develop the code, business logic, then it is easy to migrate that project into microservices architecture. So with that, what we will learn? Two things you are going to learn: scratch development, migration. So how to develop a project from the scratch, that part. And second part, how to migrate from monolith architecture to microservices architecture. Are you guys clear with this one? Good. So why I am doing this approach is, in the previous batches, directly we started major project with the microservices architecture. At once the 15-20 days microservices development completed in the class, people started sending messages. Sir, we are not understanding. What is this JSON? There is no UI, there is no button. How this code will execute? Who will send the data to this method? Why are you returning the data to this method when there is no UI? Lot of questions are coming for the people. Lot of confusion is there for the people if I directly implement microservices. So that is the reason I changed the plan. What is the plan change now? What we want to develop, we will do that as a monolith application. Then what is the advantage if I do with the monolith? You will focus on the coding part. You will focus on the coding part. I can simply tell you, boss, this is the screen I want. You look at the screen, you start the coding for that. Getting my point? Once you complete the coding, you will understand the functionality. You know what logics we are writing. Then we can migrate that project into microservices architecture. So with that, two things. You will understand development process with monolith, scratch development. Then you will understand migration from monolith to microservices architecture. Clear? So for this course, for the people who are attending the JRTP, microservices knowledge is required. So that is the reason I'm giving microservices classes as a bonus in the morning session at 7:30. Anyhow, for the Spring Boot people, I'm going to explain the microservices. So the JRTP people who don't know microservices can attend those classes to understand the microservices development. Otherwise, you will get lot of confusion when we are migrating our project from monolith to microservices architecture. If you know microservices, guys, then the people who are in the Zoom, if you know already microservices development, no need to attend. It's optional. Okay. If you don't know microservices, then you need to attend that in the morning class. When microservice will start, I will update in the class. So in the morning, microservice is not yet started. Still, we need to learn some topics in the morning batch. When the microservices starts in the morning 7:30, I will inform. Then the people who are in the JRTP can attend the microservices classes parallelly. Are you guys getting my point? Otherwise, it will take 6 months to complete the JRTP, because if you don't know microservices, you will not get the clarity. So mainly in the major project, we are going to implement microservices with the tools, right? So in the evening slot, 6 p.m. to 7:30, tools we are going to learn: mini projects development, major project with monolith, and migrate to microservices, Angular frontend, AWS cloud. These topics we have to learn. Are you getting my point? Yes. So what is the main agenda of this course now? We need to develop our application with the microservices architecture. What is the benefit we are getting if you develop the project with microservice architecture? What is the benefit? Loosely coupled, load is distributed, loosely coupled, easy maintenance is available, loosely coupled, single point of failure is not available. If there is a problem in project, only that project will be down. The remaining functionalities will be up and running. So if there is a code change, do I need to redeploy the entire application? It's not required. Now, in order to develop these microservices, guys, we are going to use Spring Boot with REST APIs. Microservices nothing but REST APIs only. We need to develop REST API in the backend. That REST API will be accessed by front end. Front end will be developed by Angular or React. So in this course, I'm going to teach Angular crash course, how to work with the Angular, right? How much knowledge is required for the Java developer on the Angular, that part I am going to teach. With that, happily you can keep in the resume, you know Angular. So how much I know in the Angular, that I am going to teach in the course. Within 10 days, you can become Angular developer. You can develop the projects by using Angular within 10 days of time. If you know Spring MVC architecture, it is dead easy to work with the Angular. Okay, guys, good, fine. So today we understood what is monolith architecture based project and what is microservice architecture based project. Okay, fine. Anybody having any questions for today? Offline students? Non-billable means client will not pay the money to you, but company will pay the money to you. That means company will not get money from the client. So billable means you are working for a project, client will pay the money for your profile to the company. If you are non-billable, there is no project for you. Company will pay the salary for you. That is called non-billable resource. You don't need to worry. You have seen people who are working on the in the company from 8 months bench, 1.5 year bench, 2 years bench is there. Enjoyment will be there. Na? You will get salary but no work. Yeah. Any other questions? Any project is developing with the monolith architecture. If it is small application, they will do that. But banking applications, insurance applications, healthcare applications will not follow monolith. If I go with monolith, what is the problem? Down. Now, best example for microservices, Google products. Google Maps there. Gmail is available. Okay. Google Drive is available. Google Meet is. See how many projects are there in the Google. You click this icon. See here, Google account, Google Search, Google Maps, YouTube, Play Store, News, Gmail, Meet, Chat, Contacts, Drive. These all are projects. If I develop all these projects in one project, all functionalities in one project, can Google handle that load? How many people will use these projects at a time? YouTube, Google Drive, Google Meet, Google Chat, Google Search, Google Maps. So burden will be increased. So in the Google, every product that you see is a separate microservice. Okay. So if you want, you can do it everything at one place, but maintenance will become very, very difficult. So that's why people are implementing microservices architecture. Now, when you go for bank also, net banking is available, mobile banking available, credit card loans available, debit card loans available, and these all functionalities will be divided into multiple microservices so that they can handle more load. They can be scalable. So multiple user requests can be handled by the servers when they are running in microservices architecture. Got it? Yes. Any other question, anyone? Online students who are joined in the Zoom, who are watching in the YouTube. So 4 classes completed, guys. Those videos are uploaded to our YouTube channel. If anybody not attended, please go through that backup videos available in YouTube channel. Can all of you subscribe to our YouTube channel? Yeah, please, man. I'm waiting for 1 lakh subscribers. It is not happening. Yeah, Bharat, agree with you. Guys, online people who are watching in the Zoom, So click on the link I'm giving in the chat box. Click on subscribe button. Click bell icon. Offline people also please open YouTube. The people who are not subscribed, tomorrow I will check. Tomorrow you need to show your mobile and show me subscribe button. Anybody who has not done, please do the subscribe, because you will get updates when I upload some important topics. And guys, this is Sunday. This is Sunday. There is a workshop related to Spring Boot with the MongoDB integration. So please do attend that. That is very, very, very important. How to develop a Spring Boot application to communicate with the Mongo database, MongoDB, which is a NoSQL database. So Sunday morning at 9 a.m., 2 hours workshop will be available. That also will be given as a YouTube live. So when such kind of workshops are there, you will get the notification from the YouTube if you subscribe and if you click on the bell icon. This is Sunday workshop. Okay. Fine, guys. Good. Thank you. Anybody not part of WhatsApp group, please join in that. Okay. Any other questions, anyone? Any other questions, anyone? Offline students? No? Okay, good, guys. So we'll see tomorrow. Thank you.